Cyberpunk has received multiple updates since its rocky release, and I can proudly say that now, after all this time, it's a game you absolutely should get into or retouch if you want a hit of that sweet dopamine. Tons of mods have released, as well as a myriad of official changes and updates, one of which is the frankly mind-blowing new Overdrive mode, specifically Ray Tracing Overdrive. Now, the game we saw in 2020 was pretty in its own right, holding up to many modern games. However, unless you had a modern PC, you were getting a choppy, sluggish game. Forget about turning on ray tracing or 4K because your frames would drop faster than Barry White's nuts. Well, now thanks to Nvidia's 40 series graphics cards, new tech is available right now in Cyberpunk that makes the graphics absolutely breathtaking without sacrificing frames, and even, in my testing, improving them from what they were. I was lucky enough to get my hands on a 4090, and what you're seeing now is Overdrive ray tracing and the AI-powered acceleration of Nvidia DLSS 3, both of which together brings the game up to a state I think it absolutely exceeds our original expectations and levels of immersion. For this mode, I'm ready to subject myself to the emotional trauma I have only just gotten away from. You can enable Ray Tracing Overdrive preset in Settings, Graphics, Quick Preset, or just path tracing separately in Settings, Graphics in the Ray Tracing section. To make sure Ray Tracing Overdrive mode works correctly on your PC, you've got to make sure you update all your drivers. That was my mistake. Those without a 40 series can still render path-traced screenshots in photo mode for other ray tracing capable graphics cards with at least 8GB of VRAM. If your graphics card has more than 8GB of VRAM and this option is still grayed out, it means you need to lower your in-game resolution. Note that the higher the resolution and the less powerful your GPU is, the longer it'll take to take a screenshot. It could take from a few seconds to a few minutes, so be patient. You can enable path tracing for photo mode in Settings, Graphics in the Ray Tracing section. Ray Tracing Overdrive doesn't boost the existing settings. It provides full path tracing, meaning better shadows, proper directional lighting, and no more light bleed. Full ray tracing accuracy simulates light through the entire scene. It's used by visual effects artists to create film and TV graphics that are indistinguishable from reality. But until the arrival of GeForce RTX GPUs and the AI-powered acceleration of Nvidia DLSS, real-time video game full ray tracing was impossible because it's extremely GPU intensive. Cyberpunk by its nature is filled with lights. This dystopian future is not too far from our own and has corporations climbing over each other for your attention, so naturally they need to be in your face. Each neon sign, street lamp, LED billboard, car headlight, and other source of light is now ray traced, bathing objects, walls, pathing cars and pedestrians in accurate lighting. This means light passing through or around objects will now cast its shadow, whereas before doing so for every single object would have slowed your PC to a crawl, which wasn't feasible as a setting to include. Now, practically all light sources can physically correct soft shadows. The results speak for themselves, truly breathtaking in my opinion. So if you want to know the exhaustively tested specifics, I recommend Digital Foundry's video on just that in the link below. I'll be linking some of his footage here so you can see some of his testing as well. The graphics are so breathtaking that with Overdrive on max settings and 4K, my game chugged along, barely getting 20 frames a second. See, that's where DLSS 3 comes in. I can't tell you the specifics, but this technology uses the 40 series graphics cards and AI to generate frames, boosting your frames up tenfold. If you choose to run the game at 2K resolution, which I do, as my 2K monitor has a far better refresh rate than my 4K, you'll be running the game buttery smooth. But for the first time in recent memory, I'm able to play a game in 4K without feeling like I'm making a serious trade-off. Thank God I have a semi-decent power supply because boy does it suck power out like the antidotes in it. Regardless, I find it hard to see how we could possibly render the game at the same settings and frame rates without DLSS AI anytime soon. Cyberpunk really has become the new crisis, a game to test your new hardware and really push what games are capable of. You don't need a 4090 for Overdrive and DLSS 3, but you will need a 40 series. You'll also need a decent rig to support it. I've got an old AMD Ryzen Threadripper 1950X 16-core processor, 3.4 GHz, with only 32 GB of RAM, but that's enough. From my testing, most of the graphical improvement mods also work with Overdrive and DLSS. Check out Nexus Mod for more, or check out my mod review videos. This is Dan from the future, well, technically your past, but the future of me recording originally and now editing. I guess you can call me Editing Dan. I've been having issues with the recordings in 2 and 4K, so I didn't get to show you my latest footage, but I plan on uploading some more content on this topic soon. Thank you so much for watching, and for everything Cyberpunk and Starfield, you're in the right place. Ciao, friends.